Tesla is the latest big automaker to challenge the EU over its tariffs on China-made electric vehicles. It joins BMW and Chinese producers in filing a challenge at a top European court. The move was revealed Monday in a filing on the website for the Court of Justice of the European Union. The challenge will open a new front in Brussels' conflict with Tesla CEO Elon Musk. Earlier this month, the EU stepped up its probe into Musk's social media platform X over content moderation. The EU imposed tariffs on China-made EVs at the end of October after an anti-subsidy investigation. The rate for Tesla was set at 7.8%, lower than any of its competitors. The court document showed the US automaker lodged its complaint last week. Chinese EV giants BYD, Geely and SAIC have also challenged the tariffs at the court.
Donald Trump says news of Chinese AI system DeepSeek should be seen as a positive. The US president said it should just spur American tech firms to do better.
The release of DeepSeek AI from a Chinese company should be a wake-up call for our industries that we need to be laser-focused on competing to win, because we have the greatest scientists in the world. Even Chinese leadership told me that.
Trump was speaking in Miami on Monday after news about DeepSeek sparked a global stock sell-off. Traders dumped big tech names following reports that the Chinese system could match or beat US rivals at a fraction of the cost. That raised questions over whether future demand for chips and data centers would be as huge as expected, making Nvidia the day's big loser. The AI chipmaker saw $593 billion wiped off its market value, a record one-day loss for any Wall Street stock. The losses continued in Asia on Tuesday, with Japan's Nikkei index down around 1% in early trades. Chip gear maker Advantest, a major supplier to Nvidia, was the morning's big loser, falling around 10%. Trump said it was unusual to see US firms beaten on tech, but said industry and investors should welcome the prospect of lower costs.
I would say that's a positive. That could be very much a positive development. So instead of spending billions and billions, you'll spend less and you'll come up with, hopefully, the same solution.
Little is known about the startup behind DeepSeek, but researchers claim it was developed for less than $6 million, a tiny fraction of the billions being spent on AI by US firms.
Twins Mahmoud and Ibrahim Al-Atut hug after a year of separation. Palestinians streamed back into northern Gaza on Monday, with Israel giving them the green light to return as part of the Gaza ceasefire deal. Mohammed Audi reunited with his parents and brother as they returned after being displaced for more than a year.
It's better than the whole world. It's a great victory to see my mother, father and brother. Praise to God. I have been away from them for 1 year and 4 months. I was alone in the north here. They were all in the south.
Northern Gaza's devastated landscape of crushed concrete and twisted metal is where some of the most intense Israeli airstrikes and battles with militants took place. Mohammed Arifi said being away was like death.
When I get back to Gaza City, I will come back to life. I swear to God, the feeling is indescribable. To see my family, my people, my neighborhood, where I was raised and where I lived.
Under the terms of the ceasefire, residents of northern Gaza were due to return at the weekend. But Israel said Palestinian militant group Hamas had breached the deal by failing to release civilian female hostage Arbel Yahoud in a second exchange at the weekend. So, as displaced Gazans slept on the road waiting to be allowed to head north, Israel kept its forces deployed in the Netzarim corridor that separates the north from the rest of the enclave. That was until Qatari mediators resolved the dispute late Sunday. Hamas agreed to release Yahoud and 2 other hostages 2 days before the next scheduled release. The group said on Monday it had also handed over to mediators a list showing that 25 Israeli hostages are still alive, out of 33 scheduled for release. The war has killed at least 47,000 Palestinians, according to Gaza's health ministry. It displaced most Gazans, many several times, including 650,000 people forced to leave northern Gaza. The ceasefire deal also requires 600 truckloads of aid to be allowed into Gaza every day of the initial 6-week ceasefire, including 50 carrying fuel. Half should head north, where experts have warned famine is imminent.
At this new restaurant in Madrid, the main attraction is not so much the food as it is the young social media star chef who's in charge. Elias Dozunmu boasts over 9.5 million followers on TikTok, having shot to fame teaching recipes during the global health crisis. His is a new path to culinary stardom in the digital age.
I started uploading videos, and one of the ideas that I always had in my mind, that was not a plan that I lived for, was to open a restaurant. In the end, social networks have helped me to get there.
Where once chefs attained fame through Michelin stars, and for the chosen few, their own TV shows, so-called content creators and food influencers are changing the game. Today, they can bypass elite cooking schools to gain prominence and wealth through staggering subscriber counts.
I was never going for that goal of being the most famous, being the richest, being the most whoever. I was doing what I liked.
Just like his online following, the restaurant's target audience is young. 12-year-old Marcos Castellanos likes to cook following Dozunmu's recipes.
I know Elias Dozunmu from YouTube and TikTok. I watch him because I like to cook, and sometimes I use his recipes.
Ukrainian-born Dozunmu was juggling a job at a fast food franchise with a degree in aerospace engineering when the pandemic hit. He was furloughed and, with the help of his partner, started making short recipe videos. And he says his success isn't down to luck, but to a stubborn work ethic that leaves negligible room for weekends, holidays, or sleep.
I consider myself a very hard-working person, and thanks to working so hard, and thanks to truly loving what I do, to sacrificing everything to do what I want, I was able to achieve all this.